It brings me to my first question. A date that stands out for you in your life, December 19th, 2019. I want to talk about that day, the significance of that day, what it means to you, because I think it was the catalyst to where you are now.
Yeah, I look at that date as the day that I put my foot in the ground. Um, you hear a lot of people talk about man versus himself. Sometimes you can be your own biggest enemy, and you second guessing yourself is the wrong thing to do. Or you confusing the universe with who you are or who you want to be, that's the wrong thing to do. You got to stick your foot in the ground and decide, this is who I'm going to be. This is who I want to be. And I'm going to spend every second of every day that I get trying to be that. So December 19th, 2019, it was coming to the end of the year like this 3 years ago. And I had spent 2019 doing a bunch of different things. I was modeling. I was doing my
Really
podcast.
nice.
I was making social media content, but I also was low key trying to go backwards. So more background on me. I worked in social media. I was blessed, man. I was in the MLB fan cave in 2014 doing social media stuff,
Nice.
creating content. I had no other social media experience on my background or on my resume in my background. MTV gave me a shot because MTV filmed a show at the fan cave. All it took was one young lady, Brittany Travis. I'll forever say her name and put her out there because she did it. Took her to see MLB fan cave on my resume, give me a shot. I ended up working at MTV for 2.5 years.
Oh wow.
First corporate job in New York City. And like, it's hard to get in with nothing on your resume, but I had that.
What year was this, if you don't mind me
This is,
asking?
yep. So this fan cave was 2014,
2014, 2015.
March 23rd, 2015. I started at MTV. I left MTV like right after July 4th weekend in 2017.
Got it. Got it.
I went to Fubo TV, which now everybody knows, but I was the first social media person hired at Fubo TV back in 2017. Startup company. Now everyone knows them for, being a platform for streaming sports.
Yes.
Really, they were a soccer streaming platform. So you could watch Bundesliga, Champions League, Europa League, like, European soccer. And then they were expanding into Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA. And when they interviewed me, supposedly they interviewed 8 different people or 7 different people. They get to me, number 8, and they're like, this is the guy, because I was pointing out all the things that they did incorrectly with, their coverage of sports. And they needed a guy with my sports knowledge to attract fans from the other leagues, not soccer. I still don't know that much about soccer, but I know a good amount about
I don't blame
football,
you.
basketball, baseball, and even hockey now. So then when I
Nice.
was working at Fubo, I didn't even get to a complete year. In May of 2018, a young lady messaged me, and she was working at Rock Nation, an intern at Rock Nation. Rock Nation Sports comes knocking. You go see what's on the other side of that door. I'm a sports fan. I'm a music fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a whole fan. I'm
Yeah.
KD, Saquon Barkley. I'm a fan of some of these big names they had. Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley at the time I got to
It's a
work
good
with.
marriage.
Danny Green I met in there, got to work with. Only lasted for 3 months. It was not for me. And it ended up being the straw that broke the camel's back. The culture there was just very much like a record label. It is a record label, but I was on the sports side, sports agency side, and I was looking for a job that would give me more of manager duties or responsibility. And it wasn't working out for me. And I had the itch. Around this time in 2018, I started to see people rising in the Yankees universe, as I call it, Yankees Twitter, right? My boy Joe's McFly went viral in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
He's building his followers. John Boy starts his stuff up in
John Boy.
2017. 2018, I'm seeing him build his followers. Hubs from Barstool, he's rising. Bronx Pinstripes, who I was already linked with, they're rising. I'm like, you know what, man? I'm making decent money doing this, but I'm not happy. I'm behind the scenes doing social media. I'm not happy. I quit. Some other things happened in between, but mostly I walked out the door. But then I walked out the door with nothing set up. So from the summer of 2018 to December 19th, 2019, I did everything from drive Lyft Uber, 700 Lyft Uber rides, Uber Eats rides, walking into people's apartments, dropping off Wendy's bags, talking to people's grandmas at the front door, handing them a Egg McMuffin, picking up drunk strangers in the middle of the night. It don't matter if it's Jersey City, Newark, East Orange, and some spooky places that people wouldn't dare go. I've had people get in my car and say, "You're crazy for coming over here. We can never get a Lyft Uber ride over here." I'm like, God got me. I need this paper. I'm out
trying
here.
to get
fine.
it. Yeah.
So I worked at a restaurant, and I also did some modeling. I did some freelance photography, some social media consulting, advice to people. I was doing everything I possibly could. I was a DJ. I was going and DJing wherever I could. $300, I'll go rock the whole night.
Yeah. About that.
When you leave the corporate world and you're missing those benefits, you're missing those consistent checks every 2 weeks, you're missing the free food and drinks you get at work. You're missing the parties. You're missing, it's just a different lifestyle. I got to the point where I was going on so many interviews, bro. I was just telling somebody, I was telling them on WFAN this because East Bay is closing. East Bay magazine, we used to flip through the magazine like, oh, I want them shoes. They're done now. And I told the story of how I interviewed at Foot Locker. I thought I was going to be the social media manager for Foot Action. The Foot Locker building is right down the street from Madison Square Garden. It is beautiful in there. I was like, imagine myself working there. I went through 2 rounds of interviews, ghosted me, didn't hear from him. I went to Major League Baseball and interviewed there, didn't work for me. So while I'm doing all these other little things to survive, to make ends meet, I have a wife, I have an apartment, I have bills. My wife didn't know I was going to quit Rock Nation. You know what I'm saying? I got to still come through with bread. I got to still come through with funds. I was, back and forth. Do I go back to the corporate world and be behind a desk as somebody's social media admin, scheduling posts, and basically being a puppet for a company? Just like you're honestly like, you're nothing when you're behind the scenes as a social media manager. You better be getting your money. And I was getting like 60,000, 70,000 max. That's not enough. So, but it was more than I was making doing Lyft, Uber. I worked at this restaurant called House of Q. No restaurant experience, bro. They just put me in the front as a host. But I came in hungry. I came in and told them I'm losing my mind. I'm at home trying to make it online with podcasts and YouTube videos, and creating content is not hitting. I'm going live. There's 4 people watching my lives. I just need to make some money. So I would just schedule myself where, like, all right, I got my shift at night. Then I'm going to drive some Lyft Uber. Then I'm going to wake up the next day, drive some Lyft Uber. Then I'm going to create for 3 hours and then go back to the restaurant, whatever. I grinded. I did that for a minute into 2019. And then I quit the restaurant after 2 months because baseball started. So going into the baseball season, now I have a podcast under Bronx Pinstripes. Yep. Now I have, 3,000 followers on Twitter, 1,500 followers on Instagram, couple hundred on YouTube. But to me, it was something. It was the foundation of something, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. I knew in 2019, hey, I'm in there. Like, people are starting to see me. What a great year it was. Yes Network finds me. Supposedly they put me in a list of top 10 Yankees influencers or content creators. Yes. They bring me out to the stadium with other guys like Hubs, like Joe's McFly. Now I'm like, I'm in here now. I'm starting to meet some people, shake some hands. I meet a producer and he's like, got an idea for you. Your personality, your style. We're going to do this thing called Fandom Acts of Kindness. You're going to walk around New York City doing random acts of kindness, but only for Yankees fans to celebrate the Yankees going to the postseason in 2019. We did 2 of those commercials. We did one in September. I did it for free, but knowing the game, the one in December, I asked for some paper. Bread, yeah. They paid me. Boy, did I need it. I still have the video on my phone. I had an overdraft around Christmas time that year, negative 460, because I had bills I had spent on gifts and just wasn't doing my budget right. Yes Network came in with a big check there. Not a big check, but,
They got you right. They got
couple
you
hundred
right.
to bring me,
Back to the green.
I think it was like 750 or 500, something like that, just to bring me back. And it just gave me hope. Like, yo, I'm on TV. I'm on the Yes Network. Cool.
Shout out. The Connects. Luis Guzman. Don't ever go, never leave my side. Passion's all I have, courage is my drive. And if I lost you, I would lose it all together. I wouldn't have composure to get it back together. I don't want closure. This